Hello guys, I just got back from the market and I just need to decompress really quick because market days and design days get really hectic for me. I am in need of a coffee and a good breakfast right now. Anyways, hi, welcome back. It is March already. I feel like Q1 just kind of flew right by. Insane. It's been quite a busy start to the year and I feel like it's not easing up anytime soon, being that Lauren and I are going to be traveling a lot towards, honestly, for the rest of this year. We are planning to be in Paris from July to September, so that's 3 months over there in Europe. Quite a long time, but we are planning to swap flats with somebody. So I feel like that kind of eases up on a lot of the logistics for us. We have a lot planned, but before I get into all of that, I wanted to start off this vlog by thanking Airalo for sponsoring it. I use their eSIM all the time when I'm traveling overseas, and I will definitely be grabbing one for this trip as well. You can download Airalo for free and use my code that I'll put right here to get $3 off your first eSIM. Roaming fees are super expensive, and I learned that the hard way the first time that I travel overseas. So I am really glad that Airalo provides different options and different packages that you can pick and choose from. Whether that's a quick trip or an extended trip like this, there's always going to be an option available for you. The process is pretty easy and it's very straightforward. I feel like anyone can just download the app and get the hang of it right away. I've never had issues with connection on any of the trips I've been on, so I always recommend them to everyone I know who's planning to travel overseas. So go ahead and download Airalo for free, and you can use my code MANG3 that I'll put right here, and you can get $3 off your first eSIM. I am actually quite nervous about Paris. Let me actually move you guys with me over this way. I was in the middle of designing at the dining table, and I really want to take you guys with me this time. I hope that you're able to see her. This is her. If you've been around for a while, you know that moving to Europe has been in the plans for a long time now. And I'm not saying that I am moving to Paris, okay, before we jump to any conclusion. That's not what's happening here. But if you've known me for a while, or if you've followed me on socials for a while, you know that Lauren was living in Amsterdam about 45 years ago when we first met. Originally, I was gonna move over there. At the time, I had barely made a year in LA. I moved to LA from New York with a list of goals and like 2 suitcases. At that time, I was stepping into a new chapter in my life that felt really uncomfortable, but was also very much needed. It was really the first time I had made a decision that was solely based on what it is that I wanted. I felt like if I had just packed up all my things and left in that moment, it kind of felt like I wouldn't be standing in that commitment that I had made to myself, and I really didn't want to do that. So that is why Lauren ended up moving to LA and I chose to stay here. I mean, of course, I've had moments throughout the years where I wondered what life would have been like if I had chose to move to Amsterdam, but I don't think it'll ever override the fact that I didn't abandon myself in that commitment and I really saw things through. I live in a beautiful home and I'm married to Lauren. I have Sesame, business is thriving, family is healthy, friends are good. I don't really think much about what life would have been like if I had decided to move. But what I do know is that starting over in Europe and thinking about that kind of does scare me a little bit. We want to eventually set our roots down somewhere and find a place to buy a home, but Lauren and I are such nomads, so I really don't know what that looks like for us right now. We really love traveling, so I feel like it's important for us to get a feel of well, everywhere in the world. Or maybe coming to a city that is closer in proximity to the places that we like to travel to. I feel like that would make sense as well. We shall see. Oh my God, in the meantime, look at these orchids that I got. I don't know if you guys can see, but they are stunning and they just really give a nice moodiness to this arrangement. I love her so much. I don't know if you guys can see, let me show you. Stunning, 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 stunning. We are currently getting ready for an exhibition viewing at the Museum of Contemporary Modern Art. This one is really special because not only am I attending it, but I was actually doing the flowers for it earlier on today. It's for a South Korean artist named Haegyu Yang, and her exhibition is called Star-Crossed Rendezvous. And I know that this exhibition was heavily inspired by different artists, but what stood out to me the most was that Yang created a whole synchronized light choreography to a double concerto by a South Korean composer named Isang Yoon, I believe. I think that I was particularly drawn towards this part of the installation because I did some research on the composer's former life, and it was heavily influenced by a lot of the political movements that were happening in Korea during the 20th century, like the Japanese colonization, the Korean War, the Cold War. So a little bit of a short, unwarranted history lesson for you guys. The double concerto is inspired by an ancient Eastern Asian folktale, and there's so many different versions of it across Eastern Asia, but long story short, it's basically about a cowherd and a weaver who fell madly in love with each other, and they were separated by the gods across the galaxy. Once a year, a flock of magpies come together to form a bridge for them to reunite. And Haegyu Yang's installation is supposed to resemble half of that bridge, which is actually supposed to symbolize the two distant lovers, who are supposed to symbolize the division of Korea as a country from what had happened over history. And that is also supposed to represent the composer's life and how his life was divided between Europe and Korea due to these historical events as well, which I think is so, so beautiful. And I'm so honored to be able to just contribute to that and design something special for them. Not only are we attending the exhibition at MoCA, but they're also spoiling us with a live performance by the LA Philharmonic of this double concerto. Are you kidding? That is such a treat. I'm really, really excited. It's about 5 p.m. and the event is from 5 to 8, so we have to hurry up and get ready. We are currently making tuna gimbap, which is one of my favorite dishes to make, and and one of Lauren's favorite dishes to have. And I swear I'm not trying to brag, but I do feel like my tuna kimbap surpasses all other tuna kimbaps that I've ever had in my life. Aside from my mom's, it's really her recipe, so that's probably why it's so good. But I guarantee you, any store-bought tuna kimbap could never compete with mine. I keep my kimbap pretty simple. I don't really put too much in there, and I feel like that's why it's so good, because I use very simple ingredients and I perfected those ingredients by seasoning them really well. I just have some basic tuna salad with red onion and salt and pepper, garlic powder, kewpie mayo, and then I pan fry some julienne carrots and burdock root, and they're both seasoned. And then I blanch some spinach and marinate that in some sesame oil and a little bit of salt and sesame seeds. And I kid you not, guys, that paired with some yellow radish, chef's kiss. It's so good. I had a pretty thorough workout today. I took my first solid core class and I quite literally lost my legs in the process. I swear, I was standing in line for coffee and my legs would not stop shaking, and it was really embarrassing because I couldn't get it to stop. I'm always so nervous before any workout class because I'm very shy, but luckily the instructor was really easygoing and she made me feel super comfortable, and she also helped me with my form in a way that didn't feel like the spotlight was on me in the middle of the class, if you know what I mean. I will be going back, so we'll keep you guys updated because I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty motivated to commit to it. Let me know if any of you guys are also solid core girlies. I'd love to have any sort of advice or tips on how to get started. Anyways, tomorrow is Lauren's birthday, and I know that they've been wanting to go off-roading for a while, so I booked us an off-roading experience in Big Bear with these crazy looking Jeeps. We'll keep you posted on how that goes. I honestly have no idea what I'm about to get myself into, but I'll be taking you guys with me, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I'll make it back in one piece, especially after this solid core class being the day before all of that too. Okay, babe, come try. Don't they look so good? Here we go. Okay, guys. Guys, I just had the most amazing head spa experience. It's this place called Yolu, and they have reached out to me. I believe they're Japanese owned. They reached out to me a month ago, I believe. So I booked this appointment way in advance, and I just finished, and my hair feels super silky. I feel like they really took their time with me, and their attention to detail to everything from my scalp all the way to the ends of my hair was just 10 out of 10. And they also gifted me like a bunch of product that I'm definitely going to be using. I am so glad that I booked this session right after our off-roading experience because there was just so much dust in my hair, and my hair was just in need of a thorough cleanse. I am about to head home and get ready to head out for an engagement party because my best friend just got engaged. Me and the girls got a surprise cake for her and her fiance, and we're all gonna be there and we're gonna cut the cake, and I'm excited, and I love love and I love celebrating love because what else is better than celebrating love, honestly? And we truly need more of that in this world right now. Truly. So excited. Currently prepping for tomorrow's event. It is nothing crazy. Uzal is hosting a dinner at their annex and I am designing the florals for it. We're doing some moss mounds, of course, being that that is my forte, and then some really simple frog pin designs, probably about 1 to 2 stems on these babies. I'm prepping the pins right now by attaching them to these metal dishes, and it should be a pretty minimal, clean look with some fun shapes. Flowers have been really good, and by that I mean business. It feels really good to have the stability that I used to pray for. And that's been on my mind a lot lately, honestly. Just thinking about how much of my current reality is made up with a lot of the things that I used to ask for. And it's a blessing. I think it's so funny how you can finally reach a destination that you've been so antsy to get to. And then you finally get here and you feel a million different things. For me particularly, I feel like I've been hitting a little bit of a plateau in the recent months. Things feel a little bit repetitive, and that's not to say that I'm not grateful, because I know that where I stand is where I was running towards not too long ago. But recently, I've been feeling a little uninspired, kind of like a hamster on a wheel type of situation, if that makes any sense. I do feel like a large part of the reason why I've been feeling this way is because of social media. And I know that it's so tough to take a break from it, especially being that a large part of my income relies on it. I do think that there's been a recent spotlight on floristry as a career path. And when I say recent, I mean probably within like the past 4 years. And with that, I've noticed that there is a trend of things being contentified, if that's even a word. And floristry has definitely fallen under that trend. So a lot of what I see when I scroll feels very regurgitated or processed. It's kind of starting to take a little bit of a emotional and mental toll on me. And that's not to say that majority of my inspiration stems from what other people create and put out there. But as someone who is on their phone and has access to the internet 24/7, I do tend to see a lot of things being recreated or, like I said before, regurgitated and processed, and you start to feel a little bit jaded over time. You know what I mean? I think that right now I'm in this era of trying to get this childlike wonder back into my life again, especially with flowers. And I cannot stress that enough across all boards in life to people. The childlike wonder and the curiosity to seek for more, and also just the ability to dream big. I feel like those 3 things are just so fundamental to fulfillment. And I'm not a life guru, just a girl living this life for the first time like everybody else. This is just how I feel and what I've learned within the past 31 years of my life on this earth. I know that someone once told me that when you feel like you're losing your spark, it's really important to go back to the things that you were enamored by as a child. And funny enough, my mom still tells me till this day that whenever she would look for me when it was dinner time when I was younger, she would always find me in the woods building forts or playing with sticks or something. And clearly not much has changed. being that I'm always retreating into the mountains. I love being outdoors. I love being in the mountains and anything related to them. I'm there. Anyways, I know that this is just the ebb and flow that every artist goes through, and I know that the process is never linear. And by no means am I saying that I'm down bad or crashing out. Just a small moment of a plateau, and I wanted to share how I've been navigating that and also how I've been trusting that this is all a part of a bigger moment and lesson during this chapter of my life. These are how the babies are coming out. They're gonna look really, really cute. I have these really beautiful swirly snake alliums that I'm gonna plug onto each and every one of these. It's gonna be super chic.